Well, hello, everyone. This is Crystal Lynn coming to you from Southern California. And we're going to be talking about what is going on up in the sky as we speak and what type of influence that can really have on us here on Earth. How do we feel the shifts and the changes in our personal lives? That's what's really exciting about kind of understanding the planets and that they really do influence us and they have a pattern, they have a theme. And how can that apply to us? How can we work with the energy and not against the energy? So, we've got a lot of fun stuff we're going to be doing tonight. Also, going to be taking some questions. We're going to be talking about relationships or any questions that you guys have. I'm going to be trying to answer some of those. We also, let me see here. I think I can do it there. See us coming up here. Here we go. Hang on there. Here we go. Awesome. Hi, Carrie. Nice to see you. And we have Rory, Rori. Am I saying that right? Hello. Thanks for joining. Let me turn the volume down. Thanks for hanging with us just a minute because it takes a minute to make all of this happen. So I'm really excited tonight because there is a lot happening in the sky as we speak right now. And it really does affect how we are seeing each other. So, right now, as we speak, the sun is in Taurus. We know that today's May 1st. And so, when the sun's in Taurus, it really is all about balancing things out, not necessarily reacting so emotionally, also looking to see the things in our life that we need that bring stability. All right, it starts to ground us here on Earth. So let me turn that down a little bit more. There we go, because I heard some feedback. So we have those of you guys coming in. Hi, Penny. Thanks for coming and joining us. I really appreciate it. I'm wearing it's like a type of lapis, my stone, and I'm going to be talking about my stones because I have a very, very dear friend of mine. She's a Pisces with the moon in Aquarius, and she's been making these absolutely amazing stones that I've been wearing. I'm really funny about my stones. They have to really feel, they have to connect with me, and she puts so much positive energy, all that Pisces, comforting and compassionate energy into each stone, and she does all of her wrap here. So soon she will be popping up on my website, and we will be able to make some of these available to you guys. They're one of a kind. So be listening for that because that is coming soon. We have so many things that are coming soon, you guys. And part of my encouragement for you guys to go to my website and put your email in and enter for our up and coming contests is to also be able to give you guys the first of our updates and the first of what we're doing because we have so many great things coming this summer. And I want you guys to know about that. So we're continuing to have people come in. Let's see who we have here on Facebook. Hi, Jesse. I should have my glasses. Fiona, hello. We have Dee. Finally made it. Awesome. I'm so glad you did. Thank you guys for coming in. It just makes it so much fun. And that's really what I'm here to do on Wednesday nights is talk about some in-depth stuff, but have a little fun. There's so many things in our world today that are so intense and so serious. And we do face those things and we have to think about those things. I'm not taking away from them. But at the same time, if we don't understand just a little bit about who we are and what our calling is, what our mission is here on this earth, then we just kind of get lost, don't we? We get lost in all the overwhelming scenarios and situations around us. And it often just, for many of us, if we're not grounded and centered, what happens? We just, we just get caught up in the tornado and everybody else's tornadoes. And let's face it, we have our own tornadoes. So we just have to be really aware that it's okay. It really is okay to stop what you're doing, to have a little fun, to be able to participate in something that brings self-realization and helps us to think about who we are and where we're going, right? It's okay to take time and nurture ourselves. So I hope tonight is just kind of applies to all of those things. That's my goal anyway. So let's see who else is coming in. Thank you guys for coming in. So tonight, I'll just start off by talking about what's going on with the sky. We have the moon, Mercury, and Venus right now in Aries. And so, all you Aries out there, how are you guys feeling? I'd like to know what's going on. Are you feeling this huge stellium, this huge powerful punch of Mars energy, just pulsating through your life? Let me hear from my Aries out there. Carrie, I know you're in Aries. I want to hear from you. Let's see what else is going on. It's hard for me. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to bring this phone a little closer to me so I can see who is coming on. Hello, Alicia. Thank you, guys. I love my Instagram. I have so much fun on Instagram and getting to know you guys. Everybody has such really neat pages. So Instagram has been fun. I didn't know it was going to be so great. So thank you guys for coming in. So when we have such a powerful energy like we do in Aries, what is Aries? Aries is all about independence. Aries is all about initiating, being on your own. This is the person that we're going to send to the front lines of the battle, and they're not even going to think twice about it. They're going to move into the front lines because they believe so deeply and passionately about what they're fighting for. Aries are often always fighting for something. They need that constant, argument, so to speak, or that questioning. They need that to bring out the best in them. So a lot of times it's hard to understand, especially in relationships, that the Aries is not going to do well with just the quiet life, talking just quietly. They need that constant stimulation to bring out the best in them and to bring out the best in others, because an Aries will trigger you. And often when we're triggered, even though we don't like it, it's kind of uncomfortable, those areas in your life that you're being triggered are actually areas that we need to heal. We need to look at. We're only triggered because those areas in our life we're not okay with. We may not have come to a peace with. Maybe we don't understand those areas. So instead of, which is so easy to do, getting mad at others for triggering you, right? They're triggering me. We can start to maybe welcome it. Maybe we have to think about it later, but we can start to welcome and say, why is this actually stirring me up so much? Why is this affecting me so much? And take a look at that. Because I think when we actually look at that, we can actually begin to, really question those things in our life and find ways that maybe we can overcome them. Because every challenge is meant to be overcome. And so this is a time that with all of this energy in Aries right now, we're going to be severely challenged. We're going to be very challenged in all areas of our life. So let me know how you guys are doing out there. Are you feeling challenged? Let's take a look. Yeah, Josh, it's a lot of work right now. Yes. Carrie, you're feeling happy, so that's good. So this energy can bring about a lot of support and encouragement as well. Sometimes when you have planets that are lined up in your own sign, it really is almost like your home. This is a comfortable place for you. And so that also can happen. So, and it can go so many ways. And that's why we are looking at all of these different things through different eyes, through different angles. I've got a question here. What sign are you? Alicia, I'm a Virgo, but I have a moon and a rising in Pisces. So it's, very complex. It's a dichotomy. One of my favorite words. But I am a Virgo. So thanks for asking. What sign are you, Alicia? All right, maybe she'll come in. So what signs do we have out here tonight? Who is in our chat room here? What signs do we have coming in? I want to hear from you guys. Let's see. We've got Aries. We've got Gemini. Oh, we've got Fiona. You're from Scotland. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. You're from Scotland. How cool is that? What time is it right now in Scotland? I'd be curious to know. Hey, Joseph. Thank you, guys. We've got Sagittarius. Alicia, you're Libra rising. We've got a lot of Sagittariuses here tonight. We have a Gemini with a Taurus moon. So good. I'm glad because this really gives us a lot to talk about. We've got another Virgo sun, Pisces moon. You can identify. Scorpio sun with a Taurus moon. A lot of people, I'm just going to explain a little bit for those of you, because we have such a variety of people coming to the show and different levels of understanding astrology. So those of you who are just kind of dabbling and putting your toe in and just kind of interested, and all you know about just a little bit is about your personal sun sign. And that's the best place to start, because our personal sun sign, the day we were born, is really so much about what we're here to accomplish, what we're here to conquer, those areas, those themes through that sun sign. But as we look deeper into astrology, it gets really fun, because then we start looking at where all the other planets were at the same moment that you were born. So for some of you, I think we had a sun in Scorpio and a moon in Taurus. We know, because those are opposite signs, this is a person born on a full moon. And you may think, oh, I never even thought that would be different than any other day. Oh, yeah. We can find out a lot about what time you were born. Where was the moon at? People born on a full moon often live, a very outer life. They have a lot of patterns. They have a lot of amazing things come into their life that they have to learn to juggle and handle. But they do have a lot of the same repetitive lessons, which I also was born on a full moon. So, it's definitely a challenge at times. All right. Hello, Heather. Thanks for coming in. Who else do we have? I'm just getting a feel for you guys, because I really appreciate you guys are coming on. If you have any questions just out the gate right now, go ahead and put your questions in so that we can be looking at those and trying to answer some off-the-cuff questions. So we've got people coming in. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about what's going on up in the sky and how, again, that influences our relationships. So with all of this energy in Aries, we're all feeling a little bit independent. Like we don't want to be tied down. We don't want to be told what to do. We really want to know what we want to do. Finding our identity. Often we get caught up in being what everybody else wants us to be, right? Or our identity is in how can I help everybody else? And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful thing. I think all of us learn that we have to, shape shift, so to speak, in different aspects of our life. When you go to work, how do you deal with people at work, with those in authority? When you come home, how are you when you see your animals? What person do you become? Your relationships, all of those things we play different roles in. But at the end of the day, when we're really looking for peace and satisfaction and that feeling of well-being, is when we can truly identify with who we are and come to a place where we can accept that. and that we don't want to change it. We just want to enhance it. So again, we have all this energy in Aries really asking all of us to step up, to be brave, to not try to fix everybody else. Aries are the leaders, the influencers. So they're not trying to run around and get everyone to stand up. They're just standing up and going, and we want to stand up and go with them. They're the example. So there's a lot of examples right now. We also have Mars still in Gemini. Okay, now Mars in Gemini can play a lot of different storylines, okay? Because Mars in Gemini really is all about dual thinking, and thinking in many different ways, often having a hard time even coming to one point of view. This can be a lot of obsession. This can be a lot of questioning. Your relationships can be very flighty. Mars in Gemini often can play a Jekyll and Hyde dynamic. So you may be feeling this, that one minute you're feeling great, you know what you're doing, and the next minute you're angry, and you're having a really hard time, seeing things clearly. So this is a time to be communicating. But, with all this Aries energy, it's really easy for things to blurt out of your mouth right now. And, with Gemini, those words will be very articulate. So we need to kind of, think a little bit. I find myself, like right now, I'm feeling that Mars and Gemini energy. My thoughts are going faster than normal. So I have to try to pay attention, try to slow myself down a little bit, which isn't always easy to do. And I see some of you guys here talking about anxiety, having anxiety right now. There is a high level of anxiety as we speak right now. The other thing that we have going on is we have a lot of planets going retrograde, like as we speak this week. Saturn in Capricorn has gone retrograde. Pluto in Capricorn is retrograde. Neptune in Pisces is headed that direction to have that shift and go retrograde. We're close in proximity to that. So what happens? I mean, these retrogrades are about 6 months of retrogrades. And so what is a retrograde? Retrogrades can slow us down, can have us really step back and review, and to really think about, all the ways we've been going forward in our lives and in our relationships. Kind of slows us down, puts a stop to it. Many people get frustrated if you don't understand it. You might feel depressed. Your body might feel really tired, really worn down as the planets are making these transitions. So when you don't know that, it's easy to think, what's wrong? What's wrong with me? But when you do kind of know that, you can kind of say, hey, wait a minute. You know what? The universe is so much bigger than I am. Why don't I just ride with it? Why don't I just see what it has to offer instead of trying to control everything? Because there's many of us out there that like to control everything, right? Feel in control. So how about any questions? We got any questions coming in? There's Facebook. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Casey. Hi, Dee. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. I love my Facebook friends. So we've got, this is a time to really know who our tribes are. So many people, and I'm not answering questions. You guys aren't asking me too much right now. So I need some questions from you guys. It's not that I'm ignoring anyone.
I have one.
Okay, we've got one.
Carrie Atkin.
Okay.
Can you please explain Sun conjunction Saturn?
Okay, that's a good question. Now, again, for those of you who are new, when we look into astrology, we look at the day we were born or in a relationship, what was happening in the sky. And when the sun is in a conjunction with the planet Saturn, this is a very, very powerful aspect. And this is where sun can really represent father, and Saturn also can represent disciplinarian. So Sun Saturn can be a part of your life that you feel like you always have to follow the rules. You always have to think about what you're doing. You have this kind of voice in your head constantly questioning and putting yourself in check. It can depend also on what sign this conjunction is. So, for example, if you have a Sun Saturn conjunction in Aries, then this may be a type of theme that played out where maybe you were raised around military, raised around men, because Saturn can represent men. Sun can also represent father. So, very disciplined father, structured. Maybe you didn't feel like you could really jump out there. You always had to be kind of held in. Saturn does put that heavy feeling on us at times. That we have to follow this strong rules inside of us. And sometimes we just want to be free. We want to try things. We want to do things. We don't have to overthink about everything. But Sun, Saturn, conjunctions, yeah, you're going to be thinking about everything and what you're doing and the consequences. Also, in relationships, these can be relationships that do become very controlling. So if you're born, your sun, say, is in in Aries, like we're talking about, and your partner was born with the Saturn in Aries, this is going to be a really structured relationship, controlling. It just will have that affect about it. So I hope that was helpful. I hope some of you guys understand that. Does that make sense to many of you guys out there? Because I'm still getting a feel of who my audience is. I see so many of you in the astrological community and some of you that are new. So if you're new and you feel like, I don't know what she's talking about, don't go away. We'll be talking about these things. This is how we all learned. It's kind of like piece by piece. And I'm going to be having some up-and-coming classes we're putting together right now where I teach astrology, starting from the beginning up. So if this is something you'll be interested, hang with us, all right? And we'll have more opportunity for that. Any other questions? I've got Ethan here doing questions.
Instagram.
Okay, Instagram.
Albert Queen.
Okay, is that Albert?
No, it looks
Albert?
Like I might have chopped that up.
Okay.
How will all this retrograde help or harm my daughter who just entered rehab today for 6 months?
That's a really good question. The question was, you have a daughter that's in rehab. I don't know how old your daughter is. Did she just go into retrograde? Does he say? Into rehab during this retrograde? Because this is actually, retrograde can be very helpful if you are going into a rehabilitation or if you're doing your own personal rehabilitation, because it slows down. It slows down all of our just going forward and not thinking of anybody else.
Till she's 17, she went today.
She's 17 and she went today. And today, Saturn just went retrograde in Capricorn. So Saturn is disciplinarian. Saturn is saying, whoa, we have to stop her. We have to help her. She's at the end of this road of going forward. Capricorn can also represent institutions, government institutions, rehabs, places that you go, that you can get help, that you can rebuild your life. So it makes sense that this would be a great time for rehab. 6 months, these planets will be retrograding. And doesn't it take about 6 months to make serious change in your life? She's going to be looking at herself. She's going to not be able to be running everywhere. This will be time of reflection, of groups, of getting her life stable again. So I believe this retrograde is a great time for rehabilitation. And again, in our own personal lives, to find out what areas we need to really take care of ourselves and make those changes. Retrogrades can also really be about behind the scenes. Like you're hiding behind the scenes a little bit. You're not putting all your cards on the table. You're working on things that will be ready at a different time. Obviously, when things begin to go direct is often when we're ready to launch. So remember, when you're working on stuff, and this is hard for me, so I'm just talking to us all, including myself, it's hard to get in the timing. You feel like you're just getting going and then everything slows you down again. But there's such a beautiful ebb and flow in our in the rhythms and in life. And when we can really learn to trust them, not fight them. I mean, I've made a lot of progress in that area in my life, but it's still difficult sometimes when we overthink it. What's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with anybody individually. This is the universe's way of helping us look back and look at all the details and also look and take responsibility for who we are and maybe things we've done and maybe things we weren't seeing, we were blinded to. We felt self-righteous or we felt justified. And suddenly it's like, wow, is that really all so important? Being right? Is being right so important? Maybe being right isn't truly the answer. You know, sometimes they say, you can be right, but you can also be lonely and right. Being right can be a lonely place to be. Now, does that mean you're not right in a situation? No, you might be right, but is forcing that situation into everybody else's situation the right thing to do? Sometimes being right is just your own knowing inside, and and you can wish that person well, and maybe at the end of being right, that person will also realize, of course I'm bringing this into relationships here, that other person might also realize, hey, you know what, you were right. But isn't it better to tell someone they were right when you know that they're cheering you on and they're letting you figure it out? When somebody's right and they do the whole "I told you so" kind of thing, you know what? We don't want to tell them that we learned. It's like our egos are butting up against each other. So all of that was kind of a tangent, huh? um, yeah. So retrogrades are good. What other questions do we have?
So we have D, and she says, is there a particular planet placement in 7th or 5th house that would indicate no marriage? And my question is, what does the 7th and 5th house mean?
Okay, good question. Okay, yes, because I want to explain houses. Okay, so in astrology, many of you have seen the wheel. Okay, we've seen where the planets are lined up in this circular wheel. And on the outside of this wheel, there's numbers, and they're called houses. And these houses represent different stages of our lives, different themes and aspects in our lives. So, for example, the 5th house is the house of entertainment. It's also the house, like, once you get out, like, you're not really a teenager anymore, you're kind of in your 20s. You're not really ready for intense marriage and the whole package, but you kind of, the romance, and you're seeing who you connect with. Maybe you're dating, maybe you're just, more casual. This is a time when, you cherish the things around you, your childhood. It's all coming together, who you are out into the world. So there is love and romance, but it's a little more puppy love kind of energy. When we get into the 8th house or the 7th house, she asked about, 7th house is now when we come together, when we're ready to get married, when we're ready to make that relationship official. Okay, when we're ready to do that, when we're ready to say, shake that hand, we're partners for life, or we're partners in this situation. So the question was, what signs might indicate no marriage?
Yes.
I think that was the question. Okay. Well, if you want to look at this kind of generally, some of the signs that have a difficult time making marriage their ultimate goals. Not that they don't believe in marriage, but kind of being tied down or making that official commitment, Aries would be one. Not that they're not very loyal and can make that commitment, but they have to constantly maintain who they are as an individual. They will not fully blend who they are as an individual into somebody else's life. If you have an Aries in your life and you can handle that, then those commitments, that contract could be made. But I would say Aries might be one. Gemini might be another one that really has a hard time making that commitment because they like to be like the butterfly and flutter around, and they really want to not be tied down to one main thing. But not to say they can't, but we're talking about Gemini in the 7th. We're talking about Aries in the 7th house. Also in the 5th house, I think you're going to see that as well. I think you're going to see Aquarius in the 5th house. Again, that can be a very independent and detached energy, that they don't mind meeting all kinds of people, but not wanting to make that commitment. So those are just a few. So I hope that was helpful. Okay.
One thing I wanted to mention was that we're giving away 3 15-minute
Yes.
audio readings and some more transit
Yes.
reports.
Yes, we are.
And so for every platform, kind of works for it. So if you're on Instagram, sharing with your friends and liking.
Liking and subscribing. I think that what we're trying to do here is get the word out in what we're doing. It's really important that you guys do like and subscribe, especially on YouTube if you want to get future notifications. In social media today, that's how it works. But we want to give you guys something. We want to encourage you and thank you for participating. So we're going to be giving away 3. These are my 15-minute readings. They're audio readings where I take your specific question or questions, and I give you an answer based on that specific question. It's a 15-minute reading, and I can really do a lot in 15 minutes. So it is a personal reading from me as a $100 value. So we're going to be doing that tonight, giving a few of those away. Also, we will be also giving some of our natal chart reports away, or transit reports. We also have children reports. They're $25 value. So, we'll be working on giving those away. If you go to my email, you can enter in for this contest, and we will be selecting. It'll be in the link below. Okay. So anyway, lots of stuff going on. Let's see. I'd love to know more about this. Hi, Sarah. Is that my Maria right there? Spot on. How do you like my hair, Maria? By the way, if you're out in Temecula or this area, San Diego to LA, Maria Vitale Salon is absolutely amazing. They treat you like you are gold, and you just feel like you're so special, and they put so much into everything they do there. And they take their time, and they just, I don't know, it's such a great experience. So we'll get also a link to get a hold of Maria Vitale Salon under this live. So there you go on that. All right. Anybody else have some questions? While they're coming in, I'll let you look. We'll do one more question, then we're going to do a little trivia. We're going to do a little different type of trivia tonight. Do we have one more question?
Yeah, LLPV.
LLPV.
And I've seen her all around for as long as we've been.
Yeah, you've been very supportive. Thank you. We have seen you.
How do you interpret exhalations like Jupiter in Cancer or Venus in Pisces? Did I say that right?
Oh, exaltations?
That's what I said.
Yes, exaltations. Yes, like Venus. How do I explain it, or
interpret?
How do I interpret? Okay, that's a good question. Well, I think that when we understand, again, this gets into a little more, even into astronomy, understanding what happens up in the sky through the planets, that there's different planets that are in their homeland. There's different planets that feel comfortable in certain signs. in certain energies. And so we have certain times of the year, for example, Venus, when Venus is in Virgo, that's at its detriment. It's not really happy there. You know, Mercury is not really happy in Pisces because Mercury wants to talk about things, and Pisces is kind of that ocean, slow thinking, and Mercury can't really get going in there. So when we talk about something being at its detriment, it's having a hard time in that sign. When it's at its exaltation, it means it's super comfortable there, super happy there, and we feel that down on earth. We feel happy. We feel that joy. We feel those times in our life where it's like, wow, I really feel good. A lot of times it's because the planets are lining up in their homeland or in areas that they're really abundant in. They can really be free in that sign. So that's just a small interpretation of what that means. So let's see. Your son is awesome for helping his mama. Yes, he is. I've got the greatest son and the greatest crew over here at Creative Dynamics. They have a, they do branding and all throughout the community, helping people with their businesses, and they're helping me be able to come out to you in such a more powerful way and giving me the push I need. So sometimes we need that, don't we? We get out there on our own, kind of the Lone Ranger, and we often just need others to, when they believe in us and they want to see us succeed, it's like we can just fly. And so I'm so grateful for that from my family and so many around me right now. So I can come to you guys. So it makes it all work. So we are in Temecula. We are about an hour from San Diego, an hour from Los Angeles. So we're right in the middle. So, okay. We've got somebody from Canada. Thank you for coming in. Casey, preach. I love it. I love to preach it. That's my midheaven in Sagittarius. Got a little preacher in me. So I like to get going and preaching. Okay. Well, let's do some fun stuff tonight. Now, normally in my trivia, I will try to see if you guys can pick the sign. I'll give you a scenario and see if you guys can pick the sign. But I want to hear from you guys tonight. So I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to ask some of the signs how they feel about certain different things. So I want you guys to comment. We'll be trying to read some of the comments, and I can look at all these comments later. So if I don't get your comment, I do look at these after the show. So I do want to hear from you. But so let's just kind of start out. I'm going to ask my Cancers. How many Cancers do I have out there? Put your name in the hat over here if we have any Cancers. Cancer, in relationships, what is your greatest fear? Now, we're going to talk about this a little bit. We're going to talk about what your greatest fear is. Now, often, because a Cancer really has such an emotional well-being and a very rich emotional life, it's often having anything or anybody beginning to pin you down and put you in a box and too much structure to your emotional well-being. So I want to know if you guys can relate to that, and I want to know if you guys can add to that. What's your greatest fear in a relationship? And everybody else that's on, this is going to help all of us in astrology. So you guys can also be learning. We're all learning together right now. So, okay, we have, D, you're a Cancer rising and moon. So maybe you could shed some light.
Sarah Anderson is as well.
Okay. Did anybody comment on that? I'd like to hear from my Cancers. All right. Well, if we don't hear from you right away, I'll go back because I want to keep things flowing. But I am looking. Oh, let me see.
It'd be a good idea
on
too,
this
if
YouTube.
you have some Cancer friends, feel free to either send it to them or tag them in this as well.
Yes, that's really would be helpful if you guys have people that are your astro friends and you want to get them involved and let them join the party, then you can tag them or you can share this video. Again, that helps us so much in the whole social media realm, and so that would be great. Let's see. All right. Okay, we've got Sarah. To be left alone. That is really insightful. So your greatest fear would be to be left alone. Now that's super interesting. Let's see what else we're saying. Oh, being alone. You don't want to be. That's why I was saying that's kind of interesting because normally I got it. Sorry, the way it came through just sometimes comes through that way. Yeah. It's interesting because Cancer, often we can parallel it to the crab. There is this part of the Cancer that needs to be alone, that needs to nurture themselves, that has this little place they know that they can hide. But their full fulfillment is in nurturing others and having that connection. Sometimes, with Cancer or even Cancer children, you could say they're clingy or they hang on or they don't forget, they don't let go. Those are all very true things because, and I'm just adding to this, often Cancer has a photographic emotional memory. So when you connect emotionally to someone else, to be separated from that, to have that completely disappear from your life is very painful because you feel those emotions. So being left alone in those emotions can be very difficult. So I would definitely add to that.
LLPV again says a breach of trust.
Ooh, a breach of trust. Yeah. You guys are really loyal, aren't you? You guys are really faithful. Again, when you give your heart, it's all. It's like the all or nothing type of thing when you bond with somebody emotional. So trust is super huge.
We have rejection.
Rejection.
And let's see, abandonment.
Abandonment.
See, these are all like pretty similar.
They're very similar, and this is great, you guys. Thank you for adding this. It's going to help a lot of us just to identify these words that we already know. How about my Virgos out there? Where's my Virgos? Do we have any Virgos out there? Let me hear from my Virgos. I know I have Virgos out there. What is our greatest fear? What is our greatest fear? What is our greatest fear? Well, anxiety is a bad fear, yes. I think, because I can speak as a Virgo, being out of control emotionally is super hard on me. And yet, for me, this goes a little deeper, but having the moon in Pisces, I'm always out of control emotionally. Having these emotions that take me everywhere. And so to have this opposition where I'm like mortified every single time I have like an emotional breakdown and everybody sees it, or I have this emotional outburst or emotional expression, vulnerability. At the time I have to have it, the time it's coming out, it's always after that my Virgo kicks in and goes, oh my gosh, what did you do? How, and I'm embarrassed and I'm just mortified. That's a definite word for us Virgos, right? Mortified. Any Virgos out there? We've got some Scorpios. We'll get to you. Let's see. I'm glad you joined us. Glad everybody's joining us. I should have my glasses on tonight. I need to get closer to those. But how about our Virgos? Any Virgos out there would like to add to that? Okay, we've got Albert. I have the same moon and sun as you. I can totally relate, right? Can you totally relate? Also, it's interesting because Virgos do really like to be in control of their environment, have everything in its place. Even if they're completely out of control in their house, their mental mind never stops on what they need to do. Or they know how to clean. They know how to get down there with the toothbrush. They know how to clean like nobody's business. But when they can't get to it, or it's overwhelming, or there's so many things distracting them, it may feel like they don't care. No, another one, mortified that they can't complete those things. They see them. So they will bother them, even if they try not to obsess about it. It definitely bothers Virgos to be out of control in those ways. So, yes, your mind never stops. I talk a lot about the Virgo kind of like having like a Rubik's Cube, always trying to get that perfect Rubik's Cube all lined up. So that is true. I might need something to drink. I'm getting over a cold, you guys, so excuse me. It's a little water or something. Okay, how about our Scorpios? What is your greatest fear? Excuse me. It's been a really bad cold out here that we've all had, and the aftermath has been difficult. I don't know if you guys have all had it as well, but out here in California, it seems to be something that's going around quite a bit. Let's see. I've got a question here. Are cancers close to the mother? I think that's definitely a theme in a Cancer's life, to be close to their mother.
My son's a Cancer.
Yes, my grandson is a Cancer, and he's very close to his mother, and he's very he's very sensitive, and he really is emotional. So it's interesting to see that vulnerability. Okay, let's see. Excuse me, I know I sound terrible. I'm okay. All right. Then I'm Virgo, like, oh my gosh, I'm coughing. Virgos, it's such a job being a Virgo, isn't it? Let's see. Anybody else?
I don't know if I missed this one, but
We're talking about our Scorpio, and I've got somebody here losing control. I would definitely think that is a strong fear in relationships for the Scorpio. Also, being in a relationship with somebody that doesn't express their emotions, I think, is very interesting. Now, often the Scorpio has a hard time expressing their emotions, but they want everybody else to be able to express their emotions. So, would you guys agree to that? I am so sorry. I'm I'm having a total cough episode. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, let's keep going. Anybody else? Yes, totally. Yes, totally on our Scorpio. I think it's interesting because often they can really hold that poker face, but they need to read other people. If they can't read other people and their expressions, that can be very difficult for them. So, let's see. For Scorpio, I'd say it would be rejection or being deceived by someone you trust. That is definitely because, again, when we get into the water signs connect emotionally. And so when they connect emotionally and somebody disconnects from you, or you can't feel them, or there is a breach of trust, it's a part of your internal side that's just completely has a hard time separating from that. Has a hard time feeling out of control, because the one thing that Scorpio needs in a relationship is a very deep emotional connection. So I would definitely agree with that.
we did have a part where we're going to do a trivia,
Okay.
and
Yeah, we're kind of headed that way. We're kind of headed that
I
way.
just wanted to give you about the 45
Okay.
minute mark.
Okay, we're at the 45-minute mark. We're
good.
doing good.
You're doing
We're
amazing.
just kind of covering different signs, different relationships, helping us understand how we can express ourselves, how we can connect to each other, what we need. It's okay to understand what you need in a relationship. It's important to understand what you need in a relationship. Okay? So, let's take a look here. I'll just look at any more. Okay, so we're going to do a little trivia. Now, this is somebody that I'm going to mention, okay? That is a singer. She's a very famous singer, and I want to see if you guys can figure out who I'm talking about by her rising sun and moon. Okay, now this is someone that is a legend. I'll give you a few hints. Um, I will tell you, I have to give you at least the year she was born so you kind of can go there. She was born in 1968, and she's born on a new moon. Now, a new moon means that the sun and the moon are in the same exact sign. Okay, so in her chart, the sun was in Aries, the moon is in Aries, and her ascendant, her rising sign, is in Leo. So I want you guys to think about a really amazing singer, a legend as we know it. Somebody who's been around a really long time, major hits, um, major songs, major albums, and has that.
Marilyn Monroe?
Not Marilyn Monroe.
Sheryl Crow?
Not Sheryl Crow. You guys are getting good though. Getting thinking about it. Let's see who else we have. This is going to be for my 15-minute reading.
Beyonce?
Not Beyonce.
What kind of music?
What kind of music? Pop culture music.
Madonna?
I will give you another hint. A lot of her songs have been actually in movies, the themes of movies. So she's that good.
Stevie Nicks?
I love Stevie Nicks, but not Stevie Nicks. Not
Madonna?
Stevie Nicks, not Madonna. Okay, I'll give you another hint. She was married to a man much, much older to her that was her manager. There you go. Are we getting it? There's Celine Dion. So, Lisa, you are getting a 15-minute reading. Celine Dion. Now, I bring her up because she has that powerful sun, moon in the same sign of Aries, since we're kind of talking about Aries tonight with this big lineup. And when you see somebody with the sun and the moon in the same sign, they're very dynamic. They're very, intense. They think one way. And if you watch her sing, go watch some of her music tonight. She's got this constant, powerful way and how she uses her body. And she's very athletic. And she's kind of in your face. She's right there. And she's got that Leo rising. There you go with somebody rising to the top. So that was really fun. So we're going to write your name down, Lisa, and I need you to email me below with all of your date of birth, and I will get that to you. Okay, so good. Now, we're also going to be choosing, because we're doing the 3 readings, we're going to be choosing a reading from those of you who have gone to my email tonight and given me your birth date. We're going to put it in a hat and choose one, select one from the email. It says contest, yeah.
You go put your email in there with your birthday and the time you were born and place.
Yes.
And all your information.
Yes, we will. So.
And also, for everybody who shares this on their wall after, or we're going to be going through the people who shared and giving out transit reports and possibly.
Okay, those of you guys who have shared in different things, we're going to be sending you transit reports. Again, we will need your information. So go to my email for that, and you can get a free transit or natal chart report. So good. All right, you guys, let's see what we got going on. Any other questions? Amy, hi, Amy. You don't feel dynamic as an Aries. Well, I happen to know you personally, Amy, and you are so incredibly dynamic as an Aries. So I'm going to talk about Amy that just popped on, somebody that I actually know personally. One of the things that I see about you that is so dynamic as an Aries is the way and the time that you spend with your children. You play with your children, you do sports with your children, you help them figure out their identity. So, as a mother who is an Aries, Aries women, they often are coaches and even coaching their children. You've got the childlike spirit of an Aries. And you're at this time in your life, you're expressing it through your children. And so often, at different times in our lives, we express who we are in different ways. So I just want to tell you, Amy, you actually are a very dynamic Aries. So that's how I see it play out for you when I see your sign. So that was fun. Good to have you on. Okay, let's see. We'll do one more trivia question because we're getting ready to. And then if you guys want any other questions, just make sure you put them on and we'll do them. Okay. Okay. So my next trivia question is this is somebody who has a sun in Libra, a moon, this is a celebrity, sun in Libra, moon in Pisces, and a rising sign in Sagittarius. Let's see if anybody knows who that is off the bat. Those of you who study astrology, celebrity astrology. Now, I'm bringing this person up because they have an amazing ability to fight for the underdog. They actually have lately been getting into law and the legal field. This is someone also who has an amazing reputation all over the world, is able to put whatever they want together. And with that moon in Pisces, it's entertainment, it's photography, it's intuition. And this is another woman, okay? So do we have anybody that has a guess on Kim Kardashian? All right. Who got Kim Kardashian? That was quick. Eva. Okay, Eva, email us, and you are also going to get a 15-minute reading. I'm also going to be putting my 15-minute readings back on my website for sale because it's just such a great way to get your questions answered in a short, condensed way. I can talk about career, we can ask questions about relationships, family, all of those things. Whatever is on your mind, I customize it for you. So, and then we're going to be choosing one from the email. Awesome, you guys. Very good. So, any other questions that you guys have tonight? Have these been helpful? Does this help you guys just kind of be able to think and start to think about how you express yourself? I haven't gone through all the signs, but we're talking about them in different ways.
And one thing I'd like to mention is, because I'm the marketing side.
My marketing manager over here.
Everything, we're rebranding the Facebook page, and
right.
we're rebranding it. So if you like, and hit the C first once you like the page, so when we do go live and post different things, you can see that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. You mean on the Facebook? So my Facebook at CHRYSTAL LYNN Astrology is where I'm putting most of my announcements first. Also on YouTube, if you do want to have things coming your way, hit that notification button thing, because that's how that works too. So good. I'm glad you guys are liking this. So it's helpful and it's fun. What else? What else are you guys thinking? I need to hear from you. I need to hear. Oh, to help your cough, try a medicine ball at Starbucks. Oh, what is that? That sounds really good. Yeah, I am just having a really hard time. And we just moved out of all of the Pisces energy. And often when the planets are in Pisces, we've had Mercury there a long time, Venus. That's when we get these kind of illnesses, it's like colds and pneumonias and different things like that. So we do have to be careful. I'm coming out of it. And for many of us, we have to take care of ourselves. So, all right, you guys. Well, I just thank you guys so much. Thank you all also for ordering T-shirts, those of you that have, and for sending me questions and booking readings. So it really makes a difference, and it really makes the world go round. So, all right, you guys. Well, I'm going to head off. If you have any further questions, like I said, email me. And perfect timing. We're ready to say goodbye, and we will see you next Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Be here, and we'll be talking about all kinds of more stuff. All right. Have a good night.